Takes me.
Not with the mountains, not with the mountains.
All right, hey, let's go ahead and start this thing. It's 7:01 PM, January 28, 2025. We'll kick off the Montoursville Area School Board Work Session. Please join me with a pledge of allegiance. Oh, yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Struggle.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Albert is absent this evening. Mr. Badger,
Here.
Mr. Eisenhower,
Here.
Mr. Gardner.
Here.
Mr. Hausnick is absent this evening. Ms. McCoy. Here. Mrs. Meyer. Here. Mrs. Oberheim. Here. And Mr. Young.
Here.
All right.
Thank you much. So recognitions and presentations for the evening. We have Larson, Kellett and Associates here for audit presentation. Come on up, sir.
Hello, my name is Randy DiPaolo. I'm a local auditor with Larson, Kellett and Associates. We conduct the annual financial statement audit of the Toursville School District. The audit that's presented tonight is as of June 30th, 2024. The main reason that we come to the meeting is to make ourselves available to you to ask any questions you may have about the audit or the audit process, and to give a very brief explanation of the two documents that you receive from us in relation to the audit. The first document is a letter. It's a required communication from the auditor to the board. It highlights various items. The most important items that it highlights is that the audit process and the preparation of the financial statements that management prepares involves the use of estimates. So we just are required to make you aware that there are estimates contained within the financial statements, mostly related to post-retirement benefits and pensions. And then the other item I'd like to highlight in the letter is that we did not have any difficulties at all dealing with management or getting information as they have been in the past. They're wonderful to work with in relation to the audit process, which can be a big pain for them, but they are very gracious about it. The other document would be the financial statements, and contained within the financial statements is a report from us that says that we issued an unmodified opinion, which is a good thing. That means that we believe that the numbers are fairly stated within the financial statements, and that someone making a financial decision about the school district based on these financial statements would be able to make an accurate financial decision. The other, in addition to the financial statement audit, we also are required to conduct an audit of the federal awards that you expended. During the year under audit, you expended $1,662,000 of federal funds. The program that we audited this year was it's called the Child Nutrition Clusters, the food service cafeteria program. And the total dollars related to that program that were subject to audit was $670,000, which is about 40% of the total federal funds that were expended. And the only other thing that I'll highlight is that there were no issues in relation to the testing of the federal programs. I'll open it up to any questions that anybody may have. I'll be happy to answer them or explain anything further that you might want to know. I can talk about audits all night long.
Everyone good? Sharon?
Yeah,
Why did you get sick? I'm sorry.
stop. I'm good. I think I'm good. I was just gonna say.
I'm gonna go through the PowerPoint that I put together that's in your binder.
Okay.
So. Yeah, your binder. She's happy she got a binder.
How
So,
Has her
you know,
name on it.
more questions come up and I can always
Yeah.
relay them to him, or you can reach out via email to him.
Yeah, we're not
Exactly.
far away, so easy to get hold of.
I'm not shy, so.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you very much. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
that.
having me. May I be excused then?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
We can, isn't there, there's not a section, we do talk about it, we can do that.
We can do it
Here's now.
later in when we
We can
do
it in the discussion.
during discussion.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and move on to the public comment portion of the agenda. This is for residents and taxpayers committed on matters of concern, official action, or deliberating before the board. We have 3 unpaused time minutes. 3 unpaused minutes. Time minutes. It's composed to. I'm tired, it's been a long time. All right, so no one in the room and we don't have anybody really on Zoom, so. We shall move on to general agenda items. I would like to be able to combine 3.1 through 3.5, if that's okay. Most of it's just facility usage stuff. so. Once you've reviewed those, I'll take a motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Personnel, again, I would like to combine 4.1 through 4.5.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed?
I would just add that's, with a quick calculation, 102 years of
That's
teaching service retiring,
Yeah.
this year. Will be difficult to replace those individuals. They've given us a lot of years of good service. And, wish them well in their retirement.
absolutely much deserved.
Can I speak to in terms of the retirements?
Absolutely.
I've worked with these people for a long time. All of my kids have had almost every one of these teachers. And I just want to say thank you as a coworker and as a parent, for the service and what they've done for the young people in our community.
Thank you very much for that.
Well stated.
It takes a unique individual to become a teacher, but to stick around for that long is even more impressive. All right, transportation, 5.1 approval of the following addition to the bus driver and aid list for the 2024-2025 school year. Sloan FM. Motion approved. Any questions? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Very well. I think the financial section, we'll go one by one. There's some big ticket items in here. Prefer to do it that way. Starting with 6.1, recommendation of approval of the resolution establishing compensation and collection procedures for the collection of Montoursville Area School District real estate taxes for the 2026 through 2030 term.
Second.
Any questions?
Is this different from any other year?
So, we have to approve this every 4 years. It's a standard approval. We do collect our own taxes in-house. But tax collectors can be elected. And if they are elected, we have to provide them with our compensation that we'll offer and give them the option of collecting the taxes or deputizing the school district to collect taxes. Usually someone gets wrote in, couple people get together and think, oh, it'll be funny, let's write this person in. And then they are like, what do I do? So what happens then is I will mail them the letter. They'll select what they want to do. And that's all we've ever had is them deputize the school district, because once they see all the work that's involved, they don't want to be a tax collector in all reality. They prefer that the school district just keeps doing it, so.
It's not as fun as it used to be a couple hundred years ago, I guess. so.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. 6.2, recommend approval of the school tax year 2024 settlement reports for real estate and interim real estate tax. I'll take a motion to approve that one already.
Motion to approve.
Second. Yeah, any questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Six point three. Acknowledgement of the Montoursville Area School District's financial statements for the year ending June 30th, 2024, as well as the related audit report from Larson, Kellett and Associates.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. All right, 6.4, approval of the resolution to pay upfront the share of 5 million LICO CTC borrowing in the amount of $833,334 and to repay the MASD Capital Reserve Fund.
Second.
Questions, comments?
We've talked to them already, so they're fine with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
there's
have to
other
notify them,
By Friday.
by Friday that this is what we're doing, so that's why it's here.
Okay.
They are set and prepared if it goes to. They have their plan for borrowing for the remainder of the schools. This saves us, some money and, leaves us in control. We won't be paying them the interest. The
Right.
plan is to pay ourselves the interest back into the capital fund. So that we can keep that at a level that we're comfortable with. And it leaves us in control of our money. We don't have to wait for them to refinance or
Right.
do things. We pay it and we're done with the borrowing. They can go on with their project.
Okay.
We're not done with LICO CTC. We're done with the borrowing aspect of it.
Right. And they'll put right, they're not like, if we pay this amount, they're not going to
No.
say, oh, we need,
Nope.
Two other school districts doing it, right?
or doing the same thing. right?
Eastlake Cumming and us were the only two I saw on the
Okay,
updated
so Warrior
worksheet.
Run, I thought
They were considering it. I don't know.
he had said it at the meetings, but.
I don't know where they landed, but we're very fortunate to be in a position to do this as well. A lot of past planning has led to having the ability to do this, so.
And this is the least amount that we can contribute.
Yeah, it's about 1.2 million that the other districts will be paying over the 15 years.
Give myself
Like
400K.
400,000. That's why I thought.
Thanks
it
for
was
coming up with that then.
But we're going to pay ourselves back that,
That 1 point.
yeah, yeah.
Smart. Good plan. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. All right,
I'm glad you said good plan, because when I answered the question, I thought, boy, this is gonna be dumb.
Did she roll her eyes or?
No,
No, you're
no,
good, man.
she,
I like,
she
Right
listened
now-
to it and. I
right now is
just
a
liked
good
it at
time
the
to
ear.
do it.
Yeah, I think.
It's all in timing. it is.
Before we move on to the future discussion of future action items, did you want to do? Well, since we're in financials, is that what you were thinking? Or did you want to do?
Yeah, we're going into discussion now, so let's move ahead onto that. I'll start by presenting the budget planner to you all. So everyone has their budget planner in front of them. It was asked that we put it in a binder so that you have everything here. I put your names on the front of all of them. So that you have, so if anyone leaves it somewhere, I know who it belongs to. So we start with opening it up. It goes into our calendar. I do this actually every year. You just don't see it. I create it for myself. So it keeps me in line, reminds me of due dates, to make sure that we get everything to where we need to be. Right behind that, you'll see the Act 1 index that we already passed. I included that in there. That is a signed copy so that you have it there. The next tab will be the audit tab. In the audit tab, I put a copy of my presentation that I'm going to do this evening, and then a copy of both the documents that Mr. DiPaolo talked about this evening. You already received them electronically, but this is a paper copy. Sometimes paper is easier to look through. So if you come back with questions later on, mark it up. This is yours. So mark it up, write your questions in there, then we can look at things also. So then after that, you'll have your revenue information tab. So as we work through our calendar, you'll be getting information to put in these. So make sure you're bringing your books, your binders with you. I'll have them hole punch for you so you can put them right in and you can put your presentations right in there. Then after that is expense information. One of the things I already put in the expense information is the PSERS rate, because that was determined mid-December. So with that was available, I will be putting like health insurance, stuff like that in there so that you can see some of those things and where they're coming from. So you have backup for those. Then we'll go into the proposed budget in May and the final budget in June. So you'll have everything grouped together here. So you'll have a reference to everything. And like I said, this is yours. So you can mark it up, do whatever you need to do. You're at home looking at it, put some tabs in there where you find questions. And then we can go through and look at them and find you answers. So, and we'll move on to the presentation then.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So I took South Williamsport, but I changed it just a little bit because I wanted to add the audit information there because I think it's important to see how we work through it. We work in 3 years at a time. We work in we're just finishing the 23-24. We're working currently in the 24-25, but we're planning currently for 25-26. And how what we find in the 24 or the 23-24 audit helps guide us to what we're looking at in our current year to see if it's trending the same way to predict for the following year. Because as we're planning this is just a best guess estimate. You don't know until you're in it. And even then it can change just like that. So it's like a card game. It changes. It's constantly changing. You're constantly balancing it. So, and I balance it in my head, which a lot of numbers running through there. So I am going to try to remember how to do this, Sebastian. I know I haven't done it in a while. Have, is
Trying to, yeah.
it this one?
Click on sources.
Thank you. All right,
Nicely done.
so go to the slideshow. I've been having computer problems. Oh, there we go. That's a user problem.
That's usually my issue as well.
So here is just a very high level overview, what we are planning in 23-24 and where we came out. So I am very happy with this. We came out with $21,311 difference, of expenditures, less expenditures than revenues. So to show this, we're gonna go in and we're going to look at revenues. And, this is a good a slide that shows you where our revenues come from. Over 55% of our revenue is coming from our local taxpayer dollars, and we'll go through our local revenues first. And then we have about just under 43% that comes from state revenues, and then we'll show where those are coming in at. And then our federal revenues are at, just under 2%. So we will look at that information here. We'll start with the local revenue. And this just shows you what we budgeted and where we came in at. And let me pull my notes page just to make sure I touch on everything I wanted to touch on for these. Current real estate taxes, we budget at a 95% collection rate. Now, we're closer to 96, but you never know when we might have a little bit of less taxes or more taxes. So 95 is very even area, and our tax collection came in very well this year.
Yeah, like it doesn't look visible, the numbers don't.
They are on the other screens.
I was gonna say, I can see it on that, and maybe
Yeah.
that
I think
screen.
it's a vision thing there.
Yeah.
No, the ones
It's that
behind you.
screen.
I'm to find an optometrist.
the angle you're at, It's got a green
That-
line through it too. There's
I
something
can't
wrong.
see
with
afraid
it.
to-
It has to be an angle, because I see
Kathy, are the numbers back
Brenda's
there on that
Same
screen?
line
visible
for-
to you? That's
There's-
what I mean.
Did it. There's the problem.
She's looking hard because, I mean, they're, you can see them? Okay, good.
Great job, Sebastian.
I would say that one's really
That was really
good.
clear.
And that one's really clear. So,
This side of the room.
There's a
is
glare.
not the greatest.
MASD times 2 over here.
Not you.
There's a glare. This one's hard to see.
Television.
I'm on your same side, so I'm.
Well, you got the right chair.
yeah. Interim real estate taxes, that is based on what people are doing in the district. If they're adding on to their homes, that's where those typically come in. So those vary, and they can vary dramatically. When we had, the year we had FedEx come in, it like jumped tremendously, but it ran a little bit higher this year. It was at $15,000 increase. The other ones I just want to point out, earned income tax revenue there, that was up 400,000. And those of you, if you remember last year when we were planning the budget, we did increase our budget for that because we were seeing it trending up higher. So that has been addressed in the current budget year. So what I take is this information and I look at it and plan into the future years. So this is what I use to do that. Real estate transfer tax, that is just the buying and selling of houses. So that's about where we were. It came in just under 250,000 this year. That fluctuates depending on how many people buy and sell. Delinquent real estate taxes, you see a big drop there. You think, oh, what's going on? Well, because we're not turning over as much as we used to in delinquent real estate taxes. Eventually, because it's 3 to 4 years behind, and we the last almost 5 years, we haven't been turning over as much. So it has finally caught up to us where we're not receiving as much because our current real estate taxes is exceeding, but our delinquent is decreasing because of that. So, because you don't have that out there to collect. And as everyone knows, interest has been up. And so we did pretty well in interest this past year. Continuing on to the next one, continuing with local revenues also. The only thing I'll say here that is a outlier is miscellaneous revenue, and that's because we don't budget for that. That is, we budget a little bit, but none of it's guaranteed. And that can be like little grants, like $500 grants, $1,000 grants that we get that are local, just little projects, little donations, things that come in like that. Sometimes we have miscellaneous revenue, could be a check from a couple years ago, for something. It's random things. Every year it's a little bit different. So this year it was a little bit higher than usual. So that is your local revenue explanation. State revenue. Basic ed subsidy. As always, we budget to the past year when we're planning because increases are not guaranteed. So the budget for the state was passed after we passed our budget, which is typical. So you see that increase there. The only other thing, grants was a little bit higher. That means that we're doing grants, we're getting extra money for the district. And when you see like things with grants and that miscellaneous revenue, a lot of that has, well, it all has an expense that relates to it. So when you receive the money, you have a new expense. So you'll see that in the other, when we go over to expenses too. And other income from states was a little bit higher, and that's just some of your reimbursements on payroll stuff. So overall there, a little bit of an increase. Federal monies, you see that we still had a little bit of ESSER's money that was brought in during the 23-24, and that is all closed out now. So that is exciting. So that was not budgeted into the actual budget for 23-24. So that is your total on your revenues. Now into the expenditures. And I need some notes here, so I just want to find them so that I make sure I cover things with you guys. 100s, they came in just about even to budget. And that's really hard to do because people leave and, you know, mid-year, and then we replace them, and so, but that came in really close to budget, so that's good there. Employee benefits are your health insurance, your dental insurance, life insurance, Ps or Social Security, those types of things. There was a little bit of an increase there, and that's just people changing benefit plans after the budget is put together. Purchase professional services. The big one there is the IU contract. So that was a little bit of a decrease that we saw this year come through in our IU contract, which was nice. Usually it goes a little bit the opposite way. So then our 400s are equipment repairs, gas, sewer, garbage, building repairs. A lot of Joe's stuff goes into 400s. You'll see a decrease there, but then you'll see increases down below. So when you get budget transfers for projects and stuff like that, that's where some money has moved around. So that offsets some of that. The big outlier here is our 500s. Does anyone know what is in the 500s?
No, that's not.
Cyber schools.
There we go.
So, but there's something else that makes a piece of that was the transportation, which we addressed in the 24-25 budget. We moved our transportation up to what it was actually costing us. We were funding it level for so many years, but it wasn't at that level. And last year we made the correction. We made a lot of corrections in our budget last year to make it more accurate. So you'll see that there, but then you also see a big part of that was our cyber school costs.
The transportation is in 500 too.
Yes. Okay. And I just wanted to make note of it. It's not all cyber school costs that had increased, but well, that we didn't budget correctly too.
When we do the budget, will we like have a breakdown of the 500s when you have like the rest of this stuff? We have a like an overview.
I'll give you a
perhaps?
high level overview of what's in it.
Okay, well, we have like the actual numbers spent on transportation, spent on cyber school, like.
I can give you
in there.
those too, yes.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Cause
Um,
that's, it's, I like it broken, because it's, you see that big of a number and it's other, and it's sort of.
The whole document's over 300 pages, so I don't think you wanna go through that, but I can give you like the high cost things.
Okay.
Yeah. So that you see
I-
it.
Listen, I did.
It was fixed it was
I
fixed.
hate to say 300 pages. but
Okay, it was fixed in last year's budget.
Okay,
So, yeah, and like, we can like. Go sit down and go over it, cause you are in charge of the budget. So you can go over it and you can do this next time. Here we go. But, so then you have a
just
better
happens during my
understanding.
highest contract season, or otherwise, I'd be like, sure.
So then, but yeah, that's where the biggest things come in there is those two things. And we addressed cyber school costs by bringing in our own cyber. So I'm hoping to see, a little bit of a decrease there. I'm waiting on getting, next month bills, and then I'm gonna run an estimate against what we have budgeted to bring to you guys. I just need to get a little bit more information because I need to look at our individual classes that we're paying for
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
break
say,
them out, because I want to include that in it also. 'Cause I want to include what we're paying for us to do it and what cyber school is costing us.
okay, and I just didn't know if there was a way to have cyber schools out of other, like where we have like 1,000 for cyber schools, 500 for transportation, so it's a little bit easier to get a.
Yeah, I can give you that.
Yeah, well, I was even just saying like, yeah, just because it's easier to figure out, okay, where's the money going and when it's just in that.
When it's
Big
big
numbers in
ticket.
that bucket, yeah,
Yeah,
and
when
those
it's
are
a big-
two of probably our biggest expenditures, so
Yep.
it'd just be good to see which is going.
Mhm,
Thank you.
definitely. And then supplies. So some of the supplies is a little bit of transfers, but as everyone knows, it's instructional materials and general supplies. When we go to the store, everything costs more. And unfortunately, school districts are facing the same thing. When we buy, any of the same supplies that we were buying 5 years ago, it's a 10-15% increase. So everything that we're seeing is just an increase. And that's just how the economy is right now. We'll see what happens moving forward. But some of that was also transfers, which were planned. And some of that also is the grants. So remember how I talked about we had that extra money come in? Well, when you have those extra revenues, they have to have expenditures that weren't budgeted to count against them. So some of that is that counterplay also, okay? And then property. That was an increase, and the majority of that was, we had a playground equipment payment. Cause the elementary playground was completed in July of 2023 or August of 2023. It wasn't completed until after into this budget. So there was about a $50,000 payment that was paid in this year that went into that 700s. And then the doors that we had done in 23, 24, we were originally looking at having that come out of capital, but because of the extra revenue, it made sense for it to come out of our regular budget so that we can use our capital for our building projects. And then we're not building a fund balance. We are maintaining and spending close to what we're bringing in. What we're bringing in is what we're spending out. So that made sense for us not to move that from capital and keep that for a building project. So that's why you see the increase there. Other objects are dues and fees, and the other use of funds is your budgetary reserve. So we didn't use that. So overall, you're looking at, we spent about $1 million more, and we had over that come in excess revenues. So we go back to the summary. Revenues was up about 2 million more than what we were planning, and expenditures was up about $1 million in what we were planning. For overall, a total of a increase to the reserve of $21,311. And questions, comments? Oh, fund balance, sorry. I forgot I had fund balance on here. You can see where we were at the end of June 2023. And I added our capital fund in here so you could see where we are at with our capital fund. And where we are at the end of 2024. And we're just at 3.9 in our fund balance for the general fund, over 9 million for our capital, and a total of almost 13 million. Questions?
I asked, everyone looks at me. I asked during, I'm good. I got all my questions in the file.
Got your binder.
She's.
I got my binder, we're gonna fill this bad boy up.
You will.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And look through your audit stuff now that you have it on paper, now that you have the breakdown that I provided you, because what I provided you is a much simpler version of the 70-page document that you got. So if you have questions, mark them, write on it, write them up, Post-its, whatever you need, and then we can go over them whenever you want to.
All right. Thank you very much.
I'll say it was actually fun putting everything together. I was like, yeah, because this is, I love budgeting. So I'm like, I get to share this with everyone.
You did a nice job on the binder. It looks good.
You're welcome.
You do a great job on the budget too, by the way. $21,000 difference, that's pretty impressive.
That's like, you'll never see that again.
Now with that attitude, we
Like,
won't.
but that's not just me. That's like,
21, please.
that's the whole team though. That's everyone, you know, because everyone has a play in that budget. I just put it together.
We can do.
I would love to. I would love to be very, very close, but I think
What's the prize?
I don't know. Figure it out. This
You-
is,
I'm
if you.
intrigued.
You get pride in the talk.
The
Right, there we
prize at
go.
the end, if everyone's doing whatever department's the most fiscally responsible.
That's
Why
what
not?
oh, I would win.
No monetary prize.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely no monetary.
You have to take that out.
Get a pat on the back.
We get a cut of it. He's
Who can be?
No monetary prize.
I just,
Meeting. City of a budget, how much money can you save?
The other slide to really look at there is the percentage that comes from local, that 55.3% versus the 42.9 from the state and the huge 1.8 from the feds.
massive.
So it's unbelievable. This is one of the reasons fair funding went through as a court case. It really is unbalanced and not right what they do. We should not have to rely so much on our local taxpayers to support what we do here. But unfortunately, that's how the system is set up. They are making changes. They are attempting to funnel more money towards us, but the way they're Harrisburg. Yeah, Harrisburg in general, the legislature, they have to continue to fund this. They blew the chance to do and guarantee the next 6 to 7 years. They didn't do that. And the way they have added the money is Some of it has strings attached. Some of it are through grants that could go away. And they have yet to, the other big one that you brought up there with the cyber schools, they've yet to address that issue as well. So our numbers are down going out of here. Unfortunately, what we also saw was an increase of our own, oh, we have our own, we can still get a Montoursville diploma. So we've got close to 40 kids in our own. So, which is how, the question is how many of those would have went and signed up and enrolled at CCA?
Right.
So we have helped, we have stopped the bleeding. Still not ideal, but we're on the right track to get some of that money back, so that it's not leaving here and completely unaccounted for with no accountability whatsoever for those
Well, and
cyber
the kids
schools.
that they stay here, it's better for the kids too, because there's a brick and mortar, it's in the community that they're at, they can participate in
Yep.
sports. I mean, it's just, to keep them aside from the money is important too, because then they can come in occasionally and do classes and stuff, you know what I mean?
We're doing a
There's
lot
the
of
ability to do that if you keep
hybrid.
them,
Yeah,
right?
We're
And
doing a lot of hybrid.
I think that option is attractive for a lot of kids, especially kids that, like even like your gifted kids that are doing like AP and dual enrollment and stuff like that. So the more we can keep them within the district up and above the money situation part of it, I
Yeah.
think is important.
No, it's
just from a
about,
socialization standpoint.
it's about being competitive and offering options. We have to stay out of our rigid cells, these rigid lanes of, nope, you gotta do 26 credits.
Yeah.
They have to be 4 in social studies, 4 in English, 3 in math, 3 in science,
Yeah, meet kids.
your electives. We need to pivot and start meeting kids where they are. And that's the point of some of these programs, that the Geisinger Med Careers, the Grow Your Own Teacher that we're going to start, those are important for us to be able to offer those individual experiences for kids.
Did you see the new grant that they're going to be doing for dual enrollment? Like there's funds, I think, available to work with the state. I'll find it.
Okay. They were starting teacher apprenticeship and there was some money for that. but
Yeah, I know.
I'm not interested in that one.
No, was it teacher, I'll find it.
Okay,
And just one other thing, I have a public copy also that I'll try bringing to the meetings with me. And it will be available in the district office. If you want to come in and look at it, you're welcome. And, we'll be putting the stuff on the website the day after the board meeting, so that you can always go on the website and look at the information also, so that it's there.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to the 7.1 calendar discussion.
so you have in front of you,
Different calendar discussion.
just put a few notes from, and I don't know if I captured it exactly, but the February 9th date moved to the 13th. So the 13th became the Act 80 day, 9th we're actually in school in February. Sorry, I'm just throwing numbers and not months.
No, it's good.
February 9th is moving from an Act 80 day to in school. And March 13th becomes the Act 80 day.
I don't think that is correct.
Well, that's why we're discussing it.
I know, I just saw it, that's why, I think because this is
That's what you had talked about. being-
right, but now that I'm looking at this, I think this was already a day off,
It
so.
was. It was
So-
13th is a snow makeup day, which we can get rid
We're
of.
just taking away a step. They were two
Yep.
different days.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're taking away a step.
And the numbers all still add up. Those
No,
are the-
if we're gonna have teachers in school here, then we're gonna have an extra, this needs to be. We're gonna have to count teacher days,
That's fine, but this captures what.
what
you had-
she's looking for,
what you
yes.
had discussed. And that June 5th is where we would grab the. If it ends up being 189 teacher days, June 5th won't be a
Okay,
day.
okay,
But I think we had June 5th as a teacher day. June 4th was
You
the
look like
last.
even a
student
day
day.
in the summer. I heard her there.
She's so proud.
Unintended consequences.
So if that looks okay. That's what we'll bring back for the second reading in
I'm going for little wins someday.
Baby steps.
someday.
Days, okay.
You'll have to do 3 terms.
We're not taking a student day anywhere though.
You're gonna
We're
wait till
adding
it
a
doesn't
student
affect
day
me,
in.
till the kids have graduated.
Yeah, students are, that's fine. They can go more than 180. One doesn't matter.
Okay.
Students, they're not
Okay.
under a contract.
They were snow days too,
So,
so.
yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
They would have had to go, like, if they were snow days, they would be going, do you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
doesn't, yeah, the kids are fine.
I don't think this can be at the. I think it has to be a day off.
No, I
No,
want
he's
an act 80 day.
eliminating the
I'll
Act 80
eliminate
out.
this. We need that time in that part of the year.
Okay.
So. Okay, that's
Sorry,
what
I
I'll bring
missed
back.
Very good.
And thank you. It was an excellent negotiation.
That's good. Work on negotiation skills.
All right, we'll move on to the final public comment portion of the evening. Anyone is interested? Seeing no one in the room and no one online. We'll move to adjournment. Take a motion to approve adjournment.
Good night.
Good night.
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? See you in 2 minutes.
Nobody looked at it.
I did, but like, I did look at it. That's the problem. That's why I'm saying, how did I miss it?
Not a calendar.
I didn't count everything out.
Wait, you don't have any one of those pin-up calendar things? Come on,
You went-
Dan, you have a calendar.
Found it.